What is up, everyone? It is June the 24th, and I'm doing a Wednesday analysis here. I'm going to rip through this pretty quickly. I've been pretty vocal in the group that the US dollar is a conundrum right now. There's a lot of confusion going on with it. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. I'm not too convinced that it's bullish right now, and I'm light on this one, but I've taken a short here on the US Swissy. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a small one. We've done well this week. A couple other trades are working out. So let's just sit on our hands for the rest of the week. But I did take a small bite out of this, and I'll show you on my chart where I was thinking. It's not a good entry, but we have our stop in place, and let's move forward here. So the start of the week is here, and we had this head and shoulders pattern developing. We had the break, and then we spoke about the retest here, and then it did travel on, but it failed and fell through. Now it's followed along this trend line, broke that, and now we're back at that neckline. Now that would not be a traditional way of analyzing a support resistance area, but I believe, or I'm whether if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I believe US dollar weakness is in the next 2 days, next week, it can do anything. But yeah, I really do believe that we are headed down. So let's see. So just ripping through some charts here. It's a little later. I left this video a little later today. It's been a long one. Won't lie to you. So yeah, the US dollar. Um, I can barely get through this video. All right, let's move forward here. The Euro USD broke that trend line and we've pulled back, but to me this looks like a quick little flag. And even if we zoom in here, these are the techniques that I use all the time. This is nothing new. This is nothing um, groundbreaking. Risk management and technical analysis. So we have a break, we've had the pullback, and if we throw in a Fibonacci on this, we're going to fib from the high to the low. We are in that area. We are in that zone. And anyone who follows me knows I use the 50 entry all the time, especially after a nice run up. We've had a break. The textbook would tell you to have the break, a run down, to kiss this trend line again, and then to carry on. But this entry here would be amazing for me. I'd love to get a stop down here. I'm not going to trade this. I'll show you where I will trade it, but I'd love to get a stop down here and move on. That's why I just don't like this setup. There's not a ton of room for me observing asymmetrical risk reward. Um, so let's move forward. The yen, the dollar yen here, like this thing has dropped pretty significantly. This is a 4-hour chart, and um, I know some guys are, it's had quite a dump, but it's also heavily negatively correlated to gold, and gold has done nothing but go up. And just over the last day, it's kind of stalled and had a nice little pullback, and we'll look at that. But nothing tradable for me on this chart. So this one was posted, and it was down here. I thought, so we got the break, and I thought we were going to a little bit of a pullback and then a runaway. It's obviously pulled back quite a bit, um, and I'm not convinced of more downside from here. This was a trade we put on earlier, but I really do see pound strength here. Uh, that's what I'm seeing. Um, yeah. This is one of those I can't really explain why, but yeah, I don't know. Just you look at it, you just get these sort of almost kind of higher lows, and she's confusing me. I was very clear that I wasn't sure, so but I did take a small bite on this one. At this point, we have price kissing that trend line again, and we have selling pressure starting to develop. Um, we never even got down here, and I just feel like price would very much like to relax down here before it has any kind of a run up. Yeah, nothing tradable for me here. The US CAD, um, this is a unique beast, of course, because it's so heavily correlated to oil, and we'll look at that in a minute. That's why you're seeing so much dollar strength because oil really dumped today. And this was another trade that we've taken. We've sat on it for a little while. This is an interesting swing trade that I hope some of you guys are still in because it was a good trade. I know in the group someone posted this candle, um, and you can see that it was strongly rejected. And that was I appreciated the idea because it did fulfill its obligation of dropping, but you can see that it was strongly rejected. And I'm looking for movements in directions, not just quick. Like I'm not looking for this. I'm not looking for a shot into a territory and then for it to strongly retreat. I'm looking for ebbs and flows and waves into a direction of our choosing. And that's where we can latch onto a mini trend or something decent and really compound our rewards as a trend would move forward. We can notch up our stops to break even. And as this maybe develops further and it starts to develop a flag, is what I love to see, or especially a breakout and a retest of the area, typically in a flag formation. I would like to add to that level, whether it's if I went in a percent here and I was able to comfortably start moving up a stop. I don't like to suffocate price. Like let price do its thing. We see how quickly things pull back, but even if you start moving your stop up from these areas down here to at least here to then start moving it under this candle and start just slowly creeping up and moving up on your own price action. Um, I wouldn't even be at break even on this one, and off the top of my head, I can't tell you. But yeah, I just let the trade advance. And then if we get that flag, we'll add, if I wanted a percent here, I'd add half a percent or a percent here. Um, I find that to work very well. Your risk now is only half a percent on a trade, but if it keeps developing and this is a 2 to 1, you can start to understand you've made that potentially a 3 to 1, and you can understand a couple good ones a year, and the math is on your side. So I see further upside because I do see downside on the WTI is mainly what I follow. So U.S. oil is what I believe it's listed on here, and you can see that this pattern, this trade has worked out. So we'll see what happens as things come up to this level. But I just wanted to quickly throw in a lesson there. And anyways, moving on. Euro yen, I don't have an opinion. You can see I haven't really messed it up. I try not to have every chart with analysis. I start to narrowly focus on one, and it seems to work for me over time. But yeah, no opinion on that one. This is a trade I think I'm in, or I recently closed it. I'm not sure. Um, Not really loving it. It's potentially flagging at this level. You can see, but I might have even reduced some exposure when it started getting up to these higher levels, rebounding a bit. So nothing to say. It is also Wednesday. There's heavy U.S. news in the morning. We'll see what happens with that. And it is we've locked in profits in the group. We highlighted some trade ideas. I know I have locked in profits this week. Um, and last week was a moot point, but a lot of those positions were for today. And obviously we got into those positions a little early. They were not failed trades, and this is swing trading. Putting on a position. Um, we'll see what this does. We'll see what that does. Putting on a position and just kind of waiting and seeing and waiting. Yeah, you have your head and shoulders. I've already pre-marked this, but nothing jumping out at me. We're not rushing anything. We're not forcing any trades. Yet again, I like extremes of price. Finding a little, these are two commodity currencies. Um, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the odd right now. There's a resurgence in COVID, which is happening basically everywhere. There's such an interesting disease that there's so few corners of this planet that have not been touched by it. Um, and this is just, you have doctors who are out there struggling and trying to provide care and well-being for individuals who are suffering. And yet again, the U.S. has made something a political statement to wear a mask, and people are now city council pounding on tables with microphones and uh, arguing that you're suffocating these individuals. And it's back to this whole "I can't breathe." And just the narrative in the world today is so interesting to watch and just be a complete observer of it. I'm not even casting an opinion on it, but yeah, it's yeah. Anyways, I only mention that because we do need to, as technical analysts, we need to still have a macro scope, and that isn't. It takes a little bit of time. It doesn't take you a ton of time. It's not always right, but it gives you an idea of things to start to watch out for. Zero Hedge is a good one for that. I use Twitter, but I also try to be very careful on how I design my data feeds. Try to be a little open-minded. I could be better all day long for sure on that, but yeah, uh, went on a nice rant there. The odd yen is a trade that we looked at last week, so out of it now, but good trade. That was like, what do we take out of that pair? 5% over the last couple of weeks. Amazing. Um, on New Zealand, I'm in on this still on the weekly. Let me just, I am still on it on the weekly. There's your double top as seen. And we have a huge, beautiful candle. Saying that, this could very well be pulling back up, but you can see the rejection. It's already there. So even if there's another um, a few notches to go, I don't see that it's corrected deeply enough. Um, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Nice big swing trade there. Uh, Interesting to see that on a weekly it's broken out of this trend line that was talked about a few weeks ago. And interesting, definitely interesting. These dojis and stuff that are starting to develop, breaking out of lower trend lines. And there's your daily 200 EMA. Let's even put, I've been doing um, these rapid alerts a lot more lately and not even writing anything on it because I just, oh, look at that. I just feel like, I just had to save that, yeah. I just feel like they're just so quick and easy to use. I've been just firing them up everywhere now, bracket orders and stuff. Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm not even going to edit this video. I'm tired as anything. So the S&P, this was another trade that we took, and we had to watch it into profit, out of profit, into profit, out of profit. I actually didn't. I saw this and I thought, oh, here we go, and I did not take any profits. I think I even added to my position here. I stuck to my stop, and I just didn't see it. I didn't. I just did not believe the rhetoric, and so we've had that rollover. We're now at a major line in the sand, and you can see prices respecting that. I anticipate a further downside. I've scaled out of this trade. Um, Yet again, it's Wednesday. We're sitting on these positions. Uh, if I was here, so where is that? Less than 10 days that we sat on that position. So it's been a good one. Oil was spoken about. That's been a great trade. These are textbook moves. We have the fib down, and remember, oil was minus $40 a barrel, and today it's plus $40 a barrel, or it was yesterday. And it's just like it's just try to think of that on a like a thermometer. You're minus 40. Uh, did I say 30 earlier? Anyways, minus 40 to plus 40. These are ridiculous swings. So it came down. We moved back up to the 61.8 fib level, and which was sitting a daily 200 EMA. And we had the run up. We had a nice little candle. There was our stop tucked above the 200. It did, poke its head a little bit, but it didn't get too excited. And we are in a good trade right now. So I see further downside, at least to here. The markets have been so choppy. I really sense that a lot of people are just taking what they can and getting out. And that's just my opinion. It'd be a shame if, if everything became so narrowly focused. But such an interesting thing interacting with Mr. Market. So we had gold is something that we've been trading as well. I know I have. Um, it gave us that head and shoulders pattern. It broke out. Um, you know, at this point, I've secured most of my profits and have gone to break even and let a portion to run. I anticipate that pulling back. We're also going into a weekend. If there's a clear breakout, we'll latch onto it. If there's a pullback, we don't need to be a part of it. And so I'm surprised silver has done what it did. I was expecting more of a breakout. I think a lot of people were. And but let's see what the next few days offer. Excuse me. Um, yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap up this video. As I said, I'm totally exhausted. Good job in the group this week. We do have a few good trades that have worked out and a few trades that have not worked out. And I'm excited to have a Friday wrap up and a discussion in the Telegram group because we've been doing this now for a month, I believe, and we've watched a winning system roll out. We had a really good week 3 weeks ago. For me personally, it was a moot point last week, but that was building positions for them to to kind of come to fruition today. And so that is, I know a lot of you guys want to be scalpers, and if that's the life you want to live, I don't. I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day. I want to make a decision and know that I can check it within a 4, 8, 12-hour period and be comfortable with that. Um, and that's, I'm totally fine with that. Working off my phone on trades that are only have already been analyzed. I do not just jump in and out of markets on my phone, and unless I have something that has been figured out in advance, and even on my alerts, I'll put lot sizing down so I know what I'm trading, because just make it swift and easy to see. There it is. The information's been figured out for you if you are on the go, and something slaps you in the face that you've already been watching with an alert set on your phone, and it comes up, you're ready to rock. So I even sometimes input the stop mount, so I can manually input that as well into MT4 on my phone. And I think this week also I use MT4. I know I'm not sure what a lot of you guys are using, but you love the graphical stuff. For me, as I do live remotely and Wi-Fi is sometimes an issue, um, I use uh, I use something that is light in data, and MT4 is reliable. It's clearly presented information, and it's pretty rock solid over the years I've been using it, and it's data light, which means it's battery light, which means it's everything light. So um, as you're checking charts more often, I'm sure some of you guys are nosing those charts every 4 seconds, watching every pip go against you or every pip go um, be provided for you. And I just, that's not how I want to operate. You are free to do whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know. The whole goal of this was to just kind of roll out a social experiment to see uh, how well this works in the eyes of other people. And um, it's a very interesting social experiment. And I'm excited that everyone is a part of it, and I thank you for being a part of it. Um, it's with its frustrations, absolutely, um, but it's also, I believe, providing value in uh, obviously risk management and constantly having that driven into your teachings. Um, on top of that, I think the cadence of the trading is important to see how markets can be. This is the way I do things. This does not mean this is the end all and be all. Absolutely not. There's guys that have their methodology dialed in and it works for them. I have come to learn how to trade this way. It suits me and I'm comfortable with it. And the analytics tell me that it works and that I'm not as good a scalper as I'd like to think I am. But there are times where I can generate profits with a scalp. Um, but it is best that I just relax and leave them alone. So I often do that. And yeah, I just went on another little rant. As I said, I try to get these little nuggets in there. Um, and yeah, let's just keep this social experiment alive. And I know it can be frustrating at times. I'm right. I'm in that boat with you. I'm I'm rowing that same boat, and this is trading, and it's very challenging on many fronts, but if we allow a mathematical system to play out, and by allow, that means we do a mathematical system, we have a chance of making this profitable. And I think we've seen that with live trading being rolled out in real time. So once again, thanks for being a part of it.